Property crimes and violent crimes throughout the county are down, while homicide and a few other crimes rose slightly, says a mid-year report of local law enforcement agencies by SANDAG, the San Diego Association of Governments. Joining me with the impact of prison realignment on local crime rates are my guests, Escondido Police Chief Craig Carter and Cynthia Burke, Director of Criminal Justice Research at SANDAG. And Cynthia, before we get started here, when prison realignment went into effect 4 years ago, critics predicted crime rates would soar. A lot of people did anyway, but arrest records show that that really actually didn't happen. Overall, in the county, violent crimes, burglary and motor vehicle theft were down, but the number of homicides, robbery, and larceny went up slightly. So Cynthia, why was there an increase in those last three crimes?
I think for homicide, it's important to consider the small numbers. We had 4 more homicides, so yes, there was an increase. We went from 39 for the first half of 2014 to 43 for the first half of 2015. And when you consider the size of our population, our proximity to the border, places, LA had about over 150, Chicago had 300 during the same 6-month period. So even though there's 4 more, it's still too many. We don't want any homicides, but it's still a small increase. Robbery was a 1% increase. We saw 7 more robberies for the first half of the year than the second half. The biggest driver is property crime. Most crime that's reported to law enforcement is property crime, and we saw larcenies go up 4%. There was about 30 more per week across the San Diego region.
Do you know why?
You know, if I knew why, I could help law enforcement not have any property crime at all. People have speculated, is it due to Prop 47 or changes in the law? I've been surprised that we haven't seen crime go up sooner because it kept going down after so many consecutive decreases. Right,
and that gets me to you, Chief Carter, because in the last few years, Escondido has had similar results as we just saw here, but this year larceny was also on the rise in Escondido. Can you briefly explain what larceny is and what do you attribute the increase to?
A definition of larceny is basically the unlawful taking of somebody else's property. The difference between a larceny and a burglary is usually in the vehicle burglary, it's a locked door as opposed to an open window. So that one would be a burglary, one would be a larceny. So you're looking at taking somebody else's property. I think we're seeing a little bit of an increase based on a little bit more savvy criminals that know how far they can push it with the Proposition 47 passing. So we are seeing a little bit of an increase based on that, but I'm not sure I can attribute it just to Prop 47.
Well, speaking of Prop 47, has prison realignment, have you seen it affect crime rates in Escondido?
Well, prison realignment for us, all the cities have a certain population of AB 109 people that have been released. So what we do is we just have to address that population just a little bit different. So it's increased our relationship with our probation officers. I actually have a handful of probation officers that are housed inside the Escondido Police Department that work strictly with us and working on that AB 109 population.
So Cynthia, another thing that has changed besides Prop 47 is recently the FBI, I understand, has changed the definition of rape. How has the definition changed, and has that had any impact on crime rates? It
did, and that's why we didn't focus on change in violent crime with this mid-year crime report. What the FBI did and what California cities started changing how they defined it and categorized rape in 2015 was expanding the victims. Before this change, only females could be victims of rape. Now it's males or females. And there was a very strict definition of penetration. And now that definition has also been expanded to include different body parts on both the victim and the offender, is the most basic way. So we had 511 rapes reported in the first half of 2015. The crimes that we track in this report that's available online are Part 1 crimes. There's a standardized definition. There's also Part 2 crimes, which law enforcement agencies can report differently. So 88 crimes that would have been Part 2 before that wouldn't have been in these stats are now in these rape stats and in these Part 1 stats. And aggravated assaults are also now, some of those are also rape. So we saw a 6% drop in aggravated assaults. Some of that decrease may be that
because
change
it
to the
shifted on over to the new definition of rape.
Exactly.
So Chief Carter, how do you use this kind of information, whether it's aggravated assault, larceny, or the new rape definition as a police chief?
Well, we follow the information very carefully. It certainly drives what we do. We will actually change our behavior based on the information that we receive. And as an example, we saw an uptick in auto theft last year, and what we did was in Escondido, we realigned our detective division and added more detectives in that area. and more training in patrol to try to combat the auto theft, which brought our numbers back down again. So we look at these and we react accordingly, and we talk with the other chiefs in the county. This county has a great job collaborating and solving problems, because the criminals don't stay just in Escondido, they travel.
Well, most
certainly. So we want to
certainly
get that out there as well.
Okay, and the full report is on our website, kpbs.org. Escondido Police Chief Craig Carter and Sandag's Cynthia Burke, thank you so much.
Thank you.